Hi, Taylor T. Carlson, and I'm back with another vinyl haul for you. As you can obviously tell by now, I definitely have a problem with buying records. Ever since I got my record player, there have been no shortage of things I wanted to go out and get for it, and over the course of the last few weeks or so, I've certainly made my share of finds, both in stores and online. So, I'm gonna go down the stack and just show you a few of the things that I picked up recently, and of course, feel free to comment down below on any of these releases if you picked them up or any opinions you've got, because I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm going to start off with something I got from an eBay seller. This is the Mother 2 video game soundtrack, or Earthbound, as it was called in English-speaking countries. Classic 1990s RPG. Here's the back cover with the track list and the characters that you play as in the game. I might actually do a more thorough, in-depth review of this at a later date, but I love this gatefold here. It's just got a lot of the locations and characters from the game. And then the actual records themselves are a red vinyl, which is very cool. I'm not going to take the other one out because they're both basically the same color and pretty much look the same aside from the track listings printed on there. But again, I'll probably cover that one more in depth at a later date. This is just a vinyl haul video after all. Yeah, went back over to Moondog Records and bought this from Clint. This is Diamond Rex, Land of the Damned. Very underrated 80s metal group. I don't think I've ever actually owned any releases by this band, so I'm glad that I was able to pick this one up. And it wasn't too terribly pricey either. I got two things from Frontiers Records American store on Bandware, and first of all, we got the 30th anniversary edition of Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood, one of these guys' all-time classic albums, released in 1989, their fifth album overall. Title track is one of the biggest hits the group ever had, and then I'm just gonna crack this open. Got the classic photos inside there and your lyric sheet on either side, but the real pleasant surprise of this is it's a white vinyl, because this is an anniversary pressing. It's got a 2019 copyright on there. So any opportunity I have to get vinyl that's a little different than what's ordinary is always welcomed. Glad to see that Motley Crue gave this album the treatment it deserved for its anniversary. The other thing that I got from the Frontiers American store site is this, The End Machine. This group put out their album about a year and a half ago. It's a super group that's basically Dawkins' classic lineup without Don Dawkins. So you got Jeff Pilson, Wild McBrown, and George Lynch, but the singer is Robert Mason, the former Lynch Mob singer who's now the singer for the band Warrant. One of my favorite singers in the business. Sound here's a little more modern than any of those other bands, but it's a very good, very respectable record. Got an inner gatefold with the lyric sheet, and then nice photo of the band on that side as well. And now we're going to get back over to Zia Records, one of my personal favorite spots to stop off at in Vegas. Like I said before, they've actually got two stores out here, and one is right around the corner from my day job, so I frequent them pretty often. Got this in one of the used sections. This is Tarkus, the second album from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, one of my favorite great classic prog rock groups. Sadly, Keith Emerson and Greg Lake no longer with us, though Carl Palmer is still behind the drum kit doing what he does best. And love this goofy, surreal art they got inside the gatefold here. These guys definitely had imaginations in addition to their musical talent. I actually got to see Carl Palmer do a show probably about 5 years ago, and I actually got him to autograph some stuff afterwards. Definitely a highlight. I did see Keith Emerson and Greg Lake do a show back in 2010 before their unfortunate deaths. These three guys are some of my favorite performers, and definitely looking forward to getting more of their stuff on vinyl. I bought this new and remastered at Zia. This is Painkiller, Judas Priest album from 1990. This was the last album with Rob Halford before he came back to the band for the Angel of Retribution album in 2005, and it was also the first album to feature drummer Scott Travis, formerly of Racer X. And if you pull this out, The sleeve's got the artwork from the cover, but it's without the band name and the album title, so you can just enjoy the pure original art piece, and then lyrics on this side. Even the vinyl sticker has the same piece of artwork there, which is very cool, with the track listing on that side. I definitely look forward to adding more Judas Priest to my collection as well. One of my favorite classic hard rock heavy metal bands. Great used find I made at Zia. This is another Monty Python record. I love the cover art on this. It looks like they took an old Beethoven classical recording and just crossed everything out with crayon and wrote in another Monty Python record by hand. I had to explain to my girlfriend and my buddy that I was in the store with what this was and how it was supposed to look like that, but again, I absolutely adore the Monty Python guys. Absolutely hilarious, and I actually reviewed the remastered Monty Python's Flying Circus Blu-ray set a few months ago on this channel. Another great Zia find. This is a band called Crack the Sky. They came out of the Baltimore area in the mid-70s. Never a really popular group, but they put out some great music and some really diverse albums. I was very happy to find this on used vinyl and at a pretty low price as well. John Palumbo, who was the singer for this band, actually co-wrote a few songs for the band Kix in the late 80s, early 90s, because they're both out of the Baltimore area. And then guitarist Rick Witkowski actually did some music for Nickelodeon game shows back in the 1990s. So these guys have kept busy, and there's actually a version of the band still around. Not sure who all's still there, but it's something I'll be looking into in the near future. Great Zia exclusive reissue that I got the other day. This is an exclusive reissue of Johnny Cash with his hot and blue guitar. Johnny Cash, one of the all-time great country performers. This was his first LP. A combination of a few new tracks he recorded, plus some singles that had existed longer. Here's the back cover. Very vintage looking here. And no inserts or inner gatefolds or anything, but this Zia exclusive is on a transparent orange vinyl, which is very cool. And of course, you got your Sun Records sticker there. One of the great classic record labels who gave a lot of artists their start. Johnny Cash, of course, being one of the most noteworthy. It's a damn shame we lost Johnny Cash, because I know if he was still alive, he'd still be out there performing, doing what he does best. I want to get more of his stuff on vinyl, including those American Recordings albums he did with Rick Rubin, because those introduced him to a whole new generation, and he does some really great cover songs in there you'd totally never expect him to do, but in some cases they even managed to blow away the originals. Anyway, moving on down the list. The Beatles, Past Masters. If you've got vinyl, if you've got any music format whatsoever, you have to have the Beatles. There's just no question about it. One of the greatest bands that has ever lived. Quite possibly the most influential band of all time. Past Masters is essentially a compilation that combines all of their A, B, and EP single tracks that were not on an original UK album, so that you can get all those in one place, which is kind of nice. I absolutely love this inner gatefold here, which has a shot of the band in their early years. Because a lot of people don't realize with the Beatles that the US and the UK albums were different. The US albums would typically take the UK albums, remove a few of the deep tracks, and throw in a few of the non-album singles. I mean, it may shock you to know that something like She Loves You or I Want to Hold Your Hand was never actually on an original UK album. You do see these things pop up on compilations every now and then, but if you're a completist, this is absolutely a must-have release. There's also an insert in here I'll show off before I move on with this video. Great photo of the group right there. Back cover of this got a nice little news article from Kevin Howlett, which was put out in February 2009, probably around the time they put out the remastered catalog on CD. And here's the inner sleeve of this insert. And needless to say, this will not be the last time you see me showing off Beatles releases on vinyl that I've bought on this channel, because I've already got my eye on several more. One of my all-time favorite groups, and I'll never pass up any chance to get more of their music on a format when I'm collecting it. Next up, we have The Velvet Underground and Nico, 1967. This album's probably better known for its Andy Warhol banana artwork than it is the actual music on the record. Luckily, the music on here is actually pretty damn good. Here's the back cover of the album. This group featured Lou Reed before he went on to his successful solo career that included songs like Walk on the Wild Side, and they had a pretty eclectic mix of sounds. Even on this one record, they explore a ton of different musical avenues. And of course, Nico being the woman that Andy Warhol was so infatuated with, who sang on several tracks with her very distinctive German accent. And this actually reprints the artwork as it was originally seen. If you pull this banana sticker off, I'm trying not to make a mess of things here, I don't want to ruin this, but you pull this down, it's actually got a kind of a pinkish, purplish banana under the sticker. Yeah, definitely pure Andy Warhol right there. Warhol was also the group's manager, and he produced this album, though how much of it he produced is open to interpretation. Got a great gatefold inside here with pictures of the band, track lists, information, excerpts from critic reviews. I definitely like it when they go the extra mile when they're putting out these reissues instead of just like slapping on the front and back cover and throwing the record inside. This is an example of how to do a reissued version of an album right. And Velvet Underground only put out, I think, 4 proper studio albums, but then there's other compilations of things like rarities. So I might be trying to track down some of those later albums as well, because these guys definitely did some great music. Although I still believe this first album, back when they were involved with Andy Warhol, is probably the best album that they put out of their extensive catalog. Also in the group was John Cale, who went on to become a pretty famous producer. He produced the first album for the Stooges, Iggy Pop's old band. Another great find. This is Electric Light Orchestra, ELO, Secret Messages. You've seen a few of these releases on my channel in these vinyl hauls before. But this is an interesting story because when the band put this album out, it was supposed to be a double LP album, but the record label forced them to cut it down at the last minute. This vinyl restores the original intended running order of the album with all those other songs, and it's a pretty nice little gatefold in here as well with some words from Jeff Lynne, and then you got all your credits over here. But great to not only get this on vinyl, but get it as the band originally intended at long last. Another find on Amazon. Nirvana, one of the great albums of the 90s. This is their Unplugged in New York concert. There were a lot of MTV Unplugged concerts in the 90s, but this may very well be my favorite of the lot. It's probably between this and the Alice in Chains one, which I'd also like to get on vinyl, by the way. And then got your back cover there. Yeah, sadly, this was recorded right before Kurt Cobain passed away. But if you're going to go out, I mean, this is a great statement to leave the world with. There's the photos, got your production information and band credits on that side. Yeah, Amazon.com was actually having a buy two, get one free sale on a lot of stuff on their site, and that included several vinyl releases. And I got one more that I got from Amazon here as part of that sale. This is Blue Oyster Colts, iHeart Radio Theater, NYC. It was this 2012. Blue Oyster Cult, one of my favorite bands. You've seen a lot of their records on this channel already, and this is a double vinyl set recorded when former Utopia bassist Kasim Sultan was in the band a few years back. This side, you got some very cool photos of the band in black and red. They have a song called The Red and the Black, so I'm guessing that's probably not coincidental. Photo of the band right there. And then on the record stickers, you got the similar artwork to the cover, which looks pretty sweet. And that does it for this vinyl haul video. Have you gotten a record player or picked up any vinyl lately? Let me know down in the comments section below. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content and like this video if you found it helpful or interesting. I'm Taylor T. Carlson, and I will see you next time.